moving on to, we're probably going to rehash some of this next week if it's even relevant after y'all have watched the thing, because they are doing a lot of things. We won't go into it in depth, but I think it's time. But moving on to something else of relevance that whether you watched it or not, you can definitely talk and not about. They are changing the way updates are handled for Android, and I like this change.
I did see about that.
Yeah,
very excited.
Yeah, basically going forward, when you buy an Android device, there's none of this Russian roulette about are they going to update it? Is this going to be a supported one? Yada yada and so forth. To name the people who are on board with this project, just the opening partners: Verizon, HTC, Samsung, Sprint, Sony Ericsson, Life's Good, T-Mobile. Who knows when AT&T buys them if that'll still be honored? But we'll get it. That
Motorola there.
Yeah, Vodafone, Motorola, AT&T. All of those people are the founding members of this thing. What they're all agreeing to do is going forward, Android devices, you buy them, updates guaranteed unless it's a hardware limitation. You know, something like the device has 256 of memory and this version of Android really needs 512 minimum. You know, short of that, 18 months worth of guaranteed updates, and they're going to at intervals renew. Basically, you're going to get clear black and white. This device is supported. It's going to be supported for another 6 months, another 12 months, another, and so on and so forth. Very useful. None of this, okay, yeah, it's 3.0 now, but do I know it's going to be 3.1? It's 2.0 now, do I know it's going to be 2.3? Do I know it's going to get 4.0? Yada, yada, yada. Basically, they're taking the question mark out of that and just going, no, it will. Within 6 weeks to 3 months, it will. You know, as soon as it comes out, within blah, it will get it. And I like that, because that's been the real in Android right now, and they've basically gotten rid of it, and I like that. I think this also means we'll be seeing less cheapy bin Android devices, because those are the real holdups on that. They really can't be, at least out of these people. So it sounds like you were happy about that too, Jordan.
Does this apply to devices that
Well,
are already out?
seeing Verizon and Motorola in that list, and I'm sitting here with the Droid X, yeah.
Now that's
happy.
Yeah, that is the gray area. They say for all devices coming out from now on. However, given that these are the founding partners, I have a real sneaking suspicion that any device made in the last 6 to 12 months is going to be retroacted into this, just to, you know, give it a good send-off. I honestly see the Zoom, the Droids, those being included in this, just to, you know, make it, because they're still selling those. And the thing is, they're saying any devices from basically I/O forward, which means if you go into Verizon and you buy a Droid, it's going to get updates for 18 months. They promise that, which means you're hunting the exact same model, Jordan. So, yeah, it gets kind of grandfathered in because they're still selling that phone.
There's actually people that are already reporting that their Droid X's are receiving the over-the-air update to Gingerbread. So, fingers crossed. I haven't gotten it yet.
Is that? So, I ought to check that.
Yeah, my guess is by the end of next month, all the Droids will have Gingerbread. I really do see that. Cause they made us think about these updates and stuff. And I'm like, and this is the way it needs to be working with Android. The fact that it hasn't been working like this for the last 2+ years has just been this. And I think they figured out it was bad PR, and it was, you know, kind of sad. You know, it's like, I mean, it had gotten to the point that rather than talking about all the innovations going on in Android, people were talking about quote-unquote fragmentation. So I like that.
And actually the fragmentation is one of the things that has been set many versions. I'm not developing for it, or I'm not buying it. I don't know which one I'll get. If they could get them all out and consistent, even though Android is the biggest, if not close to the biggest platform on Earth right now, as far as mobile devices, it would just explode. I mean, even more so than it already has.
Yeah, well, no, and basically that's what they've done. You know, I always argued that okay, yes, technically there's some people on to this and to that and so on and so forth. But I was like, okay, so it's not, but it's not really this uber fragmented market it's made out to be. But yeah, it can be annoying. This is basically put an end to that both ways. You know, it's like, no, everybody's just going to be on the latest and greatest unless they deliberately opt out. You know, which is both good and bad. Now it's going to be interesting, actually. Here's what I'm honestly thinking. I'm thinking also in some ways this is a shadow way to deal with rooters. Because when you I don't honestly know on this. When you update, does it stay rooted?
It does not. You can't do an over-the-air update if it is rooted.
That's what I thought. I think that's the other reason they're all signing up.
I didn't think that you could update a Droid X. I didn't think that you could unroot a Droid X. So how would people who are rooted get an update?
I think you can still get the update, but I think it's like if you update a jailbroken iPhone, the update unroots it.
Yeah.
It's like you'll get the ping. It's like there's an update available, but as soon as you do that, you're no longer rooted.
And if you have a rooted device, it actually doesn't even check for the over-the-air update anymore. I think you can still manually go out and get it, but just like a lot of people are getting the Zoom one, if they have a rooted Zoom, they're getting it manually now.
Right.
But if they were rooted, they didn't get it over the air like they were supposed to.
Okay. But once they load that, they're not rooted anymore.
Technically, or in theory. I mean, owning a device for as short a time as I have and not having a new version come out, I will assume.
Okay. But no,
it's just a matter of time.
I honestly think this is one of their ways of addressing the fact that at the end of the day, they don't really. Google could care less, but the carriers and manufacturers definitely don't want people rooting these devices. You know, and I think this is one of their ways of addressing that. Because, admittedly, say that again.
I'm guessing Google would want them to do it.
Google could give a shit what you do with the device. Google's about, use this device, do whatever you want with it. Google said at least a dozen times that video. I kind of wish you'd watched it. Basically, and this is kind of why I wish you all watched. There's shows of Google clearly wants Android to be the one OS to rule them all. They want Android running everything. They want Android running your refrigerator, your TV top box, your phone, your slate,
your toaster.
Yeah, yes, that is the world. No, y'all had to see the video, so we're not covering them. But they have these like what they call what did they call them? I want to say home hubs, or it was something like that.
That'd be cool, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. The thing I do want to see on those, I want to see how these Android, home automation things stacks up to a Linux MCE home automated home. Because for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Google Linux MCE. Michael Charlie Edward, or Media Center Edition is what it stands for. It's basically Myth TV with a bunch of other stuff put on tweaked, so that if you have the right hardware, it will just control the lights, it will tone everything down. You can stick your cell phone in your pocket, walk around your house, and your music just follows you around. It goes from your radio to your computer to your it's great. Somebody breaks into your house, you can use your phone and go, "Hey asshole, get the fuck out of my house, I called the cops." I would be interested to see how this Android home automation stands up to what Linux enthusiasts have been doing for going on almost a decade now. It really would be interesting to see how these two stack up. And it would be interesting to see how the it would really be interesting to see how the Linux enthusiasts build on the fact that with a powerhouse like Google and Android pushing behind for a standard on this stuff. I mean, they have a who did they name? I want to say Scientific somebody. Lighting Science basically is making these light bulbs that are designed to integrate with this stuff. You know, and that has been something historically. If you're a home, you know, a smart home enthusiast, you have to go to the niche store to get that stuff. With this stuff coming onto the market, I guarantee you by the end of the year, every Home Depot and Lowe's is going to have these smart light bulbs and stuff. Which means whether you're using Android or not, they're just there for you. You know, and that will be. I would see it, and maybe not nationwide. You're definitely in the state that I see that happening. You're in Silicon Valley. I see you going down to your local Ace Hardware or whatever and just going, oh yes, I'd like the smart home light bulbs, please. Well, make them LED. It's good for the environment. You know, it's like But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a luxury item, but it's a luxury item I see becoming mainstream because if you don't have that little. If you don't have the bulbs with the RFID or the RFID switch for the plug or so on and so forth, I say RFID, they're really just radio frequencies. It's a sub-Wi-Fi feed. Because at the end of the day, the computer needs a way to talk to this device that it doesn't actually have a way to control. But anyways, other real thing, because since we're not getting any of that stuff today, but they are, and we'll have a reason to cover all of this again towards the end of this year, because they're promising, in spite of their promise at last year's I/O, that we're going to slow down and really do one update a year. That was basically what they said a year ago. You know, a year ago they said we'll do one update a year. You know, we're gonna unify and let everybody catch up, and they do 8 updates over the last year. We're gonna do one update. All right, you know, whatever we feel like. And now they're between the various updates to Gingerbread Sign and everything. There have been 8 updates and 3.1.
That's not a major version upgrade.
No, but they are promising
major version upgrade.
Yeah, and they did stick to that. You know, Honeycomb and then Honeycomb done right is all that's come out in the last year. But they're going to break that rule now because they're promising Ice Cream Sandwich by 4th quarter.
Well, maybe they want to update it as much as Chrome does.
Yeah, well, I think because Ice Cream Sandwich is supposed to be the unifier, because what they're clearly pushing for here is, you know, the one OS to rule them all, and the only way this API thing they're talking about is going to work is if they push out Ice Cream Sandwich, you know, because that's part of the ice cream unifying thing. So I think that's why they're trying to push that out this year, because they're launching the home automation thing. They're updating the Google TV. It's like we need ice cream now, and that brings up the question. I believe them. I'll believe Ice Cream Sandwich will come out in 4th quarter, time for Christmas, so you can buy your nice Ice Cream Sandwich Google TV. Okay. Is it going to be Ice Cream Sandwich done right? Or is it going to be the equivalent to 3.0, where they rushed it out to get it out, but it ain't cooked yet?
I would be willing to bet that it's going to be cooked. It's going to be ready.
Yeah, I'm hoping Jordan's right, and I'm tending to lead that way because a lot of the things that are promised in there, it's very clear from the demos they were getting and stuff they were showing that the only holdup at this point is the supplemental technology ready. Like one of the demos they had was, say your CD has an RFID reader, and they touched it to this little sphere, and it went bing. Well, that means now it's in the cloud. And they touch it again, and it starts playing it. You know, it's CDs don't ship that. CDs don't ship that way, but they're saying if they did, you could do this. And who knows if they will. And who buys a CD anymore? You know, really. You know, that's the way I see that. That's a neat. And they were very clear to say this is a concept thing. Honestly, the way I see that working is I'm going to go to Amazon.com, buy the CD of whatever band I'm on, and then I'll push a button in the Amazon app on my Android device, and it will go boop. Rather than taking a physical CD and doing the Minority Report UI of boop. I just don't see that. It's a cool demo, but that's not how the world works. That's not what we do today. Okay. Anything else that y'all saw on here that was of interest or?
Pretty long show.
Yeah, believe it or not, we're actually right at an hour, so we haven't like gone to do an long show. We've just covered a lot. There's more we could go.
Yeah, we had a lot of startup time. You're talking about OpenSUSE at the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, ignore that.
All right.
Yeah. For this week, we're just focusing on I/O. I don't. That's something to maybe go into, but probably not. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put links in the show notes down there. For those of you who don't know how to find the I/O video, you can just click the link straight to them. There's actually a lot more than we talked about. One thing we should at least bring up in day 2. They, said Chrome's getting hard GPU acceleration, and it's actually pretty good GPU acceleration. Their demo for it was a bunch of fish swimming around, and it's like, yeah, it's like 100 fish, 500 fish, 10,000 fishies. So y'all should watch that. But the I/O stuff's like about 2 hours worth of video. So. Okay, unless there's anything else y'all really want to really go into, since I've just been here talking, going, okay, did the thing that y'all didn't see, what do you think about it? Aside from that, we ready to stop?
I'm going to try to find some time to watch that tonight or tomorrow.
Your geek juices will start flowing at some of the possibilities from some of this stuff. Yeah, ironically, I will say this. Here's the really ironic thing about what Google's wanting to do with Android based on the I/O conference. They're wanting to do what Apple's been wanting to do for decades, which is bring everything under their dominion. And that's really funny when you think about it, because they're wanting to do it by opening it up, saying, here's the tool, go have fun with it. It's like, that's really funny, and I think they're probably going to succeed by virtue of the fact that they're just creating a quote-unquote standard for that to happen, which is both scary and thrilling at the same time, because all of this Jetsons technology and how and so on, it's like I can actually see it happening in the next 10 years. It was always possible, but I just never saw it happening. The way Google's doing it, I actually see it happening, which is interesting. And on that, what the fuck, we are going to stop the recording.